We have a very special guest with us today, who you may know as GCC Potential. I think he's been on your TikTok For You page quite a bit, 100K followers, and he's won the Prime Minister's Award, he's won the Daniyaal Award, and he's off to Cambridge after achieving 4 A stars at A-level, and he's off with a full ride scholarship to study economics. So today we have with us GCC Potential, aka Daniyaal Anoir. So Daniel, a pleasure to meet you. Honestly, it's a huge privilege for me to be hosting you with us today. How are you feeling?
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. I'm feeling really delighted. You gave a very warm introduction, very flattering. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's really good to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Daniel, there's a lot to start off and talk about with you. And honestly, it's a pleasure to have your dad here with us today. Now, we're having a bit of a full circle moment just for our viewers. I think in August, I had an interview myself, and the interviewer was himself, Daniel's dad today, Anoir uncle. And it's a pleasure to now be interviewing GCC Potential. Now, I gave a few, hints about what you're up to, GCC Potential, Cambridge Economics, 4 A stars at A-level, all of this. But for the viewers who may not know you at the moment, let's start off back from square one. Yep. Who is Daniyaal Anoir and what is GCC Potential?
Yeah, sure. Good question. Very philosophical. Okay, cool. So, assalamu alaikum. My name is Daniyaal Anoir. I've got my dad here on my right. He's a barrister. His name's Anoir. My mum's not here. She's in Bangladesh at the moment in Dhaka. But yeah, she's a barrister as well. They both raised me. They're fantastic. They're the only reason why I'm here today. So, hats off to them. What else is there? I really like maths. I've always liked maths as a young child. My parents really taught me the importance of education. Moving forward, that kind of manifested in studying a lot, doing well in my exams, etc. GCSE Potential, which you've mentioned. So that's the social media that I run. So essentially, I have a TikTok page. It now goes under Daniyaal Anoir, actually. So it's kind of like a personal brand. But it's just about my life, and I also provide support for the students' exams. So GCSEs, A-levels, applying to university. I provide as much free advice as I can. And the general thought is everyone has potential to do well. I want to help them do as well as possible. That's really motivated me as well because I started that in 2021. So before I had even started fully doing my exams, etc. And now I've managed to, I started at Cambridge. So I'm in my second term, going into my second term actually next week. Really looking forward to it. It's a lot of work, but economics is great. I'm having a good time.
Amazing. So you're at Cambridge and you started. Now, if we look back at your journey, especially you mentioned GCC Potential, you just started in 2021. What actually sparked that interest? Why GCC Potential? What did you see that was lacking currently that you thought I need to start GCC Potential with?
Yeah, sure. Really good question. I think a really important one. So kind of how it started was I was always pretty good at maths. I've always loved maths. But in my other subjects, I wasn't doing as well as I wanted to. So I spent a lot of time kind of thinking about how to study as effectively as possible because I didn't want studying to be my entire life. I wanted to actually enjoy myself, go and play football with my friends, etc. So I spent a lot of time, a few months, kind of figuring out the most effective ways to study. I ended up doing that, and then my grades shot up massively. So by the end of my mocks, I was on all A stars and stuff like that. I was really happy. And I kind of thought to myself, if I can do this on a smaller scale, where I've improved my own grades, I'm sure that if I went out there and supported other people, they'd be able to have those same transformations, such that they didn't have to put in insane amounts of effort, but also they could do really well and provide a better future for themselves. So that was kind of the thesis behind what I was thinking about. I thought the content that was currently out there was okay, but a lot of people used to repeat some things. So I just wanted to be as honest and authentic as possible. This was my story. If it's helped me, I'm sure it can help you too. So 21st of May 2021 was when I posted my first video. Kind of on a whim, I posted on TikTok, and I think that one sat on now 2.2 million views. So yeah, it was a huge video, and then I just continued posting ever since then about my own journey, my advice that I have, etc.
That's really nice to hear, especially the fact that you remember exactly 21st May 2021, you posted that video and, all of a sudden the crowd reacted, right? You must have had a reaction. Now, how did your friends think, what is GCC Potential going to be like? And how did generally the TikTok public react to this GCC Potential startup?
Well, thankfully, it was quite a positive reaction. I think a lot of my friends were very appreciative of the fact that they had seen my own trajectory, where I was mostly really good at maths, but now I'd improved in my other subjects. And I think it was very nice. It's kind of like an altruistic thing to do, right? To give back. So I think it was a very positive reaction. And in terms of the TikTok community, it was fantastic. So I had tons of students messaging me saying, I'm in a similar situation. Please provide me with support. I'd really appreciate your videos. And then kind of as my audience grew and as my videos grew, more and more people were messaging me. I think the craziest part now is that I see random people just on the tube in London, and they're like, are you GCC Potential? Are you Daniyaal Anawar? And then they mention how like I've supported them in some sort of way. Maybe they had messaged me, maybe my videos were useful for them. It's an incredibly positive reaction, completely positive, and I'm really, really grateful. Because it's changing people's lives. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, people are willing to put the hard work in, but if I can catalyze any sort of change, I'd be more than happy to.
That's really lovely, because I'll be honest, I'm one of them as well. I saw your video. I didn't know you as Daniyaal Anawar, but I knew you as GCC Potential. I'd see you on my For You page. I'd be like, that's a good tip. And speaking of tips as well, these tips and tricks, what do you think has been like perhaps the biggest kind of tip or trick you've given to GCSE students that have helped them the most? What do you think was that key like tip that you gave them? That's
a good question. I think kind of the most important thing above all, I think, is being motivated. It's just a reminder of like where your motivations come from. I think the thing to remember, especially when you're looking at kind of the Bangladeshi diasporas, we've all come from like a range of different backgrounds. We've all come from Bangladesh, right? We've had an incredible opportunity passed down by our forefathers, my father, my grandfather, etc. They've sacrificed so much for us to be in this position that we can't let it go to waste. Now, as I use the word potential, right, we have so much potential to do incredibly well, and now it's up to us to be able to do that. I think having that motivation in the back of my mind was something that spurred me on the entire time. The fact that I can shatter the glass ceiling and do something that other people maybe thought I couldn't have. We should be in those spaces, excelling as much as we can. You're at Oxford yourself, you know, we can reach those places. And I think that's a motivation that I had in the back of my mind, which is why when I did manage to make it to Cambridge, I was over the moon.
That's incredible, especially I think, personally speaking as well, like that motivation that our parents brought us here, they want us to do the best we can, and now it's our duty to kind of unlock that potential.
Absolutely.
And I love that idea. Especially you spoke about your dad, who is with us today. So as a proud dad, how are you feeling? Your son has begun his first term at Cambridge, economics, all of this math stuff, this stuff I can't really speak because I'm in the medical line, but how do you feel as a dad?
Well, we say Alhamdulillah, we say MashaAllah, and the thing is, all blessings are to our Creator, and of course, the du'as of our community. But Danny touched on a couple of things which are quite important in my view, and that is the impact that education can have on people's lives, how it can touch people's lives. And I think I'm very proud of our own community, not just my son, but our entire community, where I see people from very modest backgrounds excelling in education and entering the professions, doing extremely well, not only making their own parents proud, but by default making the entire community proud. And essentially, education is such an important and integral part of one's life. And I think Danny not only has made us proud, but I have 3 other children as well. The eldest 2 are daughters. They're both doing their masters in law. In fact, my youngest one has completed her masters in law. The eldest one is about to. And my other child, my son, he's about to finish his final year at university. So education is something which I have absolutely no doubt members of our community will be championing to their children. You know, I think our community has so much to offer in this country because this is our home. And I think I can see members of my community in all strata of society, and they have such an important role to play in taking this country to the 21st century. And people like you yourself as well, you know, going to Oxford and doing a PhD is no mean feat. And we're extremely proud of you as well, and you shed light on the rest of our community. So, you know, well done.
Thank you so much. I think that's a really important aspect, the idea that education can transform lives. But what's really kind of inspiring for me personally, especially from like Daniel's perspective, is the idea that he took a year out to help people. And I think obviously you're an inspiration for our community. Like everyone will look at you and say, I want 4 A stars, I want to go to Cambridge, I want to study economics. But I think the aspect of Daniel that kind of, you know, sparks me and wants me to, you know, I also want to get involved is this idea that you're giving back to the community. Could you please give us a bit of light on that? You know, how did you spend your gap year? All of this. Because I know you also received an award for your volunteering as well. So please give us, give the viewers a bit of insight about this as well.
Yeah, of course. I think this is a perfect opportunity to actually mention like kind of a motivation as well. So I think something that I always think back to when it comes to like these altruistic acts is something my mum always says to me. She's always told me from a young age, when you're in a position of privilege, it's your responsibility to give back to others. And that came from my grandmother, so her mother. And that always kind of echoed throughout my mind. And I always thought to myself, whenever I get to the point where I am successful, I want to be able to give back. But then kind of, even though it was a younger age, I thought I may as well do it. And I think that kind of idea of you can just go out there and help people has really persisted throughout my life. So yeah, I took a year out. I was kind of asked, so on A-level results day when I got 4 A stars, I was really happy. And my head teacher of the school that I was doing my A-levels at, he was like, we would love for you to come back for a year and come and teach. So I thought that was a fantastic opportunity. So I taught A-levels in maths, further maths and economics. It was definitely an interesting experience, but it was so rewarding. The school that I taught in is in quite a deprived area in Islington. So a lot of students were like, they came from disadvantaged backgrounds, but they were extremely motivated. So now to be able to have supported them for an entire year was amazing. And they all did extremely well. So many of them ended up at top universities. Some of them actually, I think 3 of them ended up at Cambridge as well. So I actually hosted a formal with them, which was really, really nice. Yeah, it was very much full circle. And they're all fantastic. But yeah, I had a fantastic gap year. And actually, as well as that, for all the kind of outreach work I've done, I was really grateful to win an award from the Prime Minister. So that was a huge, I was a very unexpected email, I'll be completely honest. But it's something I'm very proud of. But just once again, I think if I were to say anything, it's that it was very much a motivation that I got from kind of what my grandmother had said. And I think it's important for everyone to recognize that no matter what position you're in, you're always in the position to give back, which I think is really important.
That's really lovely, especially that your grandmother's words echoed and that motivated you to bring you here today, actually inspiring everyone who's watching right now. And on that note specifically, for our viewers right now who might be in, maybe not the best situation, they probably also are going to school in a disadvantaged area. They might be thinking, yeah, this is not really, I'm not good enough for Cambridge, I'm not good enough for Oxford. What would you say to them? What's your advice to them watching right now?
That's a good question. Well, I used to think I wasn't good enough. For a long time I did. I think especially within our communities, there's kind of this glass ceiling. Like the only people who go to Oxbridge are like royalty, stuff like that. There are very much royalty there, but also normal people are there. And that's the important thing to remember. Normal people, but people who are motivated and driven to do as well as possible. I remember when I was in secondary school, I was very much nervous, but I always had this kind of underwhelming belief, not underwhelming, kind of this belief in myself. My mum always used to say, like, if you are motivated and driven towards anything, you can achieve anything you want in life. And that is true. I just worked as hard as I could. That was the fundamental truth. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of boring work that you have to do behind the scenes, but eventually you fall in love with it. So if anyone is interested in kind of like doing as well as they can, it doesn't really matter what you do it in. I think education is really important, but you've just got to commit 100% to something, and I think it'll pay off.
That's really lovely. So for anyone who doesn't think they're good enough, I think we have a prime example in front of us right now who also thought, I'm not that good, am I? But here you are, Cambridge economics. And just, just to wrap it up as well, like, what are you thinking about after graduating? Any ideas for the future? Any plans?
Oh, there's lots of different ideas. I think my parents are both lawyers, and I think they're barristers, so they very much want me to go into that profession. I have considered, I think the role of a barrister is quite cool. But also I'm considering a few different things, potentially startups, potentially merchant banking. So kind of, I'm exploring my options at the moment, but we'll have to see. I think inshallah, no matter what it is, everything will work out well. So I'm really looking forward to the future.
That's really nice. Thank you so much, because I think you've inspired a lot of people watching right now that, I probably am not good enough. And here you are, Prime Minister's Award, Diana Award, all of these awards. And one thing that I think resonates with me personally is the fact that you kept mentioning, my mother said this, my grandmother said this, and that kept you motivated, right?
Yeah.
So if let's say your mother's watching from Bangladesh right now, what would you say to her right now? just for her.
And if you want to add about your scholarship as well, perhaps you want to mention your scholarship. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm very grateful. I think, in my entire, so I'm on a full tuition scholarship, which I'm really grateful for. And in my entire application kind of revolved around kind of my mum and her being my role model, because she is my role model. I love you too. But my mum is, I think, the most important person in my life. So if I had to say one thing, it's one, I miss you because you're in Bangladesh at the moment, but also I'd be nothing without you. I think you know that. I hope you know that. So yeah, I miss you a lot, and I love you very much.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. I'm certain they're very proud of you. We have a proud dad sitting here, a proud mother in Bangladesh as well right now.
Hope so.
And a full ride scholarship is absolutely insane. I think it's very well deserved from someone who's giving back to the community. So thank you so much, Anoir, for your time. Thank you so much for your father coming in as well and telling us about the necessity of education. So thank you so much for your valuable time today.
Thank you very much. It was lovely to chat.